My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, folks. Today we got an old friend zooming in from Salt Lake City. Brian Briscoe is a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur and a fellow podcaster. And Brian does a lot of work in multifamily. In fact, he's so excited about that. He's so into that Diary of an Apartment Builder, Diary of an Apartment Investor is the name of his podcast.
Yeah.
So, Brian, good to have you on the show again.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Very much appreciate you having me.
My pleasure. So, Brian, we're mid-April 2025 as we're recording this. Things have been up, things have been down, things have been sideways. They've been all around in apartment investing over the last few years, that's for sure. So, we were talking a little bit offline that you're excited and people are excited again. So, tell me what's going on.
You know, there's a saying attributed to, the Oracle of Omaha, right? And for some reason, Warren Buffett, there we go. I don't know why his name escaped me, but
you remember the Oracle of Omaha. So
how did I remember that and not his name? Crazy. But I mean, he basically said, something to the fact of, you want to be greedy when everyone is fearful and fearful when everybody is greedy. And I mean, we saw that. I think 2021, 2022, a lot of people were greedy, and a lot of those deals ended up not doing so great. I've been fortunate to not have, any foreclosures or any big losses on my record, which is very fortunate. But I think right now we're at that time where there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of worry, and to put it in terms of what people say with the market or with Bitcoin, we're in that buy that dip phase, because multifamily's down 25-30% depending on where you're at, and it's a good time to buy, if you can get the money together and if you can find a property that pencils.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So you have also kind of switched gears or doing things slightly differently than you did a few years ago.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about that. What are you guys doing differently?
So a couple of things. I mean, I changed geographical. I think it's been several years since I came on here, but changed geographical focus. I had a partnership where we were focused on the Southeast. I was living on the East Coast at the time, and so it kind of made sense. But a few years ago, I moved closer to home. I essentially, I retired from the Marines and didn't have to, be tied to a location. So, now we're back at home, and, I think the geographic focus, it made sense to switch. I mean, the truth is I always wanted to invest in Salt Lake City, but investing from Salt Lake City when you're living in, DC, Virginia, or the Carolinas doesn't work out well. So,
Yeah.
so geographically, change of focus and left a partnership and basically formed my own company, hired a couple of really good
Wow.
people. And
Yeah,
so
lots of changes, man.
lots of
That's
changes.
huge.
Yeah, it's night and day difference. I've learned that going solo is tough,
Mhm.
There's good reasons to have partners, but on the flip side, there's good reasons not to as well.
There's good reasons to have good partners that you
Right.
sync with. That's the
Right.
trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice. So now that you're back home, you're in
Mhm.
Salt Lake City and you're focused on that, and you've started your own syndication company or your real estate company. What does the portfolio look like and where you want to take it in the short term?
Yeah, in the last 18 months, we've closed on four different properties.
Nice.
Just with, pricing and, our ability to capital raise, it's a little smaller. Like the individual properties themselves are smaller than what we were buying on the East Coast. I mean, we were triple digit unit counts,
Mhm.
in Carolinas and Georgia, on our last couple acquisitions. And now we're back to, roughly the same dollar amount here as buying 20 to 60 units, right? And so,
Mhm.
four properties in the portfolio. We've got a 24 unit, 27 unit, 43, and 56. So,
Nice.
um, three of the four are value adds, and one of them was a value add that somebody else had just finished and we're looking to unload for a good price. And so, um, our focus is the value adds, but you never pass on a steady cash flowing deal in a great neighborhood when you can assume a 3.1% interest rate.
Oh,
So
right, for sure.
that was kind of the exception to our rule. But for the most part, we're buying value add properties. We're putting, ballpark 10 to $30,000 per unit, back into the property itself. And yeah, basically doing what we had been doing, just in a different location, different year.
So have you got management in-house for these properties as well? Do you outsource that? What does that side of things look like for you?
We're still outsourcing management, and I plan on outsourcing management for as long as we can. There will probably come a time where it makes sense to do that, but right now I want to keep our team fairly lean. So um, to do that, we do outsource the property management. We rely heavily on partners. We bring co-GPs into the mix to help
Mhm.
us out with the capital raise and to help us out with certain other parts of the management of the properties. And the same thing with our general contractors. We have one general contractor that we absolutely love, and the great part is they're like a full service. They can do small jobs, they can do large jobs, and it helps keeps us lean to lean on, pardon the pun, but to lean on their size and their expertise. So
Yeah.
we hire them for the entire job minus one or two items here and there, and they take care of all the sequencing, they take care of scheduling and deconflicting everything as well.
Yeah, that's great. So what does your team look like now that you've gone solo? Who do you have on your team?
Right now there's three of us on the team. Me and Steven and Romina. Romina's does a lot of our behind the scenes stuff for us. She answers a lot of emails for me too, which is awesome. But um, so that's what the team looks like right now. Steven is focused on capital raising, and my focus is everything. And it's if you're focusing on everything, you're really focusing on nothing. But I'm trying to do everything to keep Steven focused on capital
Mhm.
raising. And then, speaking of the outsourcing and keeping things lean, we have a marketing company that's doing a lot of our marketing for us now, so that we don't have to have, people in-house,
So marketing for properties, marketing for investors, marketing for what?
marketing for investors.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um, I love doing the 506 B to C conversions. In my heart of hearts, I think it's really, really dumb that the SEC says that non-accredited investors can't invest in certain deals. So we keep every opportunity open to non-accredited investors. So whenever we do, a capital raise, we do a 506B, get as many non-accredited investors through the gate as we can, flip the switch to a 506C, and that's when we start, we ramp up the marketing and everything else. Um, so yeah, for now, it's really small. We've talked about, what the next hire would be. I mean, the two leading candidates is, somebody that can be an analyst and underwrite properties as they come in for us,
Yeah.
or like a fractional CFO. So those are probably the two next hires. Which order is still kind of up in the air right now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So Brian, since you've come back home, but it's a whole new market for you, I don't
Hmm.
think you were doing multifamily real estate investing last time you were in Salt Lake City. I could be
No.
wrong.
Nope.
So you're kind of starting from scratch
Mhm.
in an old market where you grew up, but a new market real estate wise for you. So what are you doing? What's working best for you for finding properties and finding opportunities?
I've always been of the opinion, and you can see this throughout everything we're talking about, is trying to leverage other people's time, and who has their finger on the pulse of the market better than anybody else? Your commercial brokers,
Yeah.
right? And so, we don't spend any time doing direct to seller marketing or anything like that. We did spend a lot of time and a lot of money up front whining and dining brokers. It really helped that my one of my daughters worked at the fanciest steakhouse in downtown Salt Lake, which is where all the brokerages are headquartered. And so,
Nice.
we got like 50% off of our meals. They didn't know that, but
A little bit of VIP treatment as well, maybe.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would actually line that up with my daughter. And every time I sat down for a business lunch, like the restaurant manager would come out and, hey Brian, how's it good? And it's doing, it's so good to see you again.
Nice.
You know, but yeah, it was yeah, we intentionally up front started building, a network of brokers that we could work with. And now when we're in acquisition mode, we reach out to all the brokers, say, hey, this is what we're looking for. And if they don't have anything on the books, we've got two brokers that start picking up the phone and dialing owners that own stuff that meet our criteria. So, that's, like I said,
Yeah,
we're
that's
we're
huge
trying to
leverage.
leverage other
Yeah, that's
people.
huge leverage. Yeah. Exciting stuff. So, moving ahead over the next 12 to 18 months,
Mhm.
are you going to be looking at any different kinds of properties or kind of stay in that sweet spot where you're at right now, size wise?
We're going to stay in that sweet spot. And right now, with the current condition of the market, our ability to raise capital is not quite as robust as it was a couple of years ago. Um, and once again, I mean, we're buying things at 250 a door in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And when I was still buying stuff in the Carolinas, it was still, sub six figure per door. And so, you put those two things, we're actually buying dollar amount, we're buying larger properties.
Yeah.
Unit count, we're not,
Way less.
So,
Yeah.
um, so right now, I'm very happy in that 20 to 80 unit range. We are trying to cluster our properties though. Once again, just kind of making things more efficient. So we have three properties that are within, 4 miles of each other. Makes the management a lot more efficient. In our most recent acquisition, I mean, it's not clustered next to the old properties, but it's right next to where my parents live, where I grew
Oh,
up.
nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, so yeah, I think we'll still be in that kind of 20 to 80 unit range for the foreseeable future. And then as we increase our ability to raise capital, as our marketing efforts, pay dividends, that's when we'll, gradually increase our unit count and then get back to where we're buying those, triple digit unit count properties.
What's the exit plan for these properties?
Usually 3 to 5 years. Typically, what I like to do is maintain flexibility on the back end. The deals we've had that haven't done amazingly well were ones where we painted ourselves in a corner on the exit. High prepayment penalties, longer terms and such. So, what we try to do is set things up for a pretty flexible exit, so we're not like I said, painted into a corner and forced to sell when we don't really want to sell.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge. Well, you've gone through quite the growth over the last few years. I'm sure that's been challenging and moving back home and starting
Yep.
your own business and having your own team. That takes a lot of cojones there, my
Yeah.
friend. So congratulations for that.
Appreciate it.
And I think, well, I'm just kind of curious.
Mhm.
Do you find so you start off when you're raising capital for a deal,
Mhm.
you start off with friends and family and do the
Mhm.
506B thing and then switch it
Yep.
over. So when you switch it over to the 506C and you've got the marketing company helping you
Mhm.
guys to find investors and raise capital, what are they doing? Like, how are they connecting you with potential
Mhm.
investors, accredited investors at that point?
Yeah, I mean, so we have two different companies. We actually set them up side by side to compare them. But essentially, they're both running Facebook ads right now.
Okay. Yeah.
One company is setting up, a Google ads right, probably by the end of this week, we'll have our Google ads set up. But the both companies right now are putting Facebook ads out. There's a little bit of a filter in there. They have to answer a couple of questions. Are you accredited and things like that. And if they hit yes in all the right spots, it'll take them to a place where they can book a call. Now, Ideally, they go all the way through and they book a call with us. But that's typically not what happens. But essentially, there's a handover between the marketing company and us. And with both of the companies, the handover is as soon as they put their information into that form,
Hmm.
they belong to us. And so, um, we're getting anywhere from, 5 to 10 brand new leads every day. Um, and our goal is to call them back within 15 minutes. We have our CRM set up to send out text notifications saying you have a new lead.
Nice.
It's giving us the name, giving us the phone number. So, wherever we're at, we can just within 15 minutes, one of us can usually pick up the phone and get back to them. And when I say one of us, it's mostly Steven, but that's our goal is contact them while the information's still fresh on the top of their head.
Yeah.
And then, from there, it's getting them comfortable enough with us to invest. And
Yeah.
that's really it.
That's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome, Brian. Well, I'm glad that things are going well and you're digging in and doing well back home in your hometown. If people are interested in finding out and connecting with you, what should they do? Where should they go?
Best place is probably LinkedIn. I still answer everybody that connects with me on LinkedIn. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, but just look me up on LinkedIn. Um, Hit the connect button, send me a message, and that's the best way to do it.
Are there very many Brian Briscoes on LinkedIn? How are they going to know which one you are?
Very handsome man,
Yes, I was going to say that.
yeah, but Brian Briscoe, I think, if you look for a Brian Briscoe, I actually live in Idaho Falls. I don't advertise that very often, but my profile does say Idaho Falls where I live. Should be pretty easy to find me. I don't think there's very many of us.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Brian, thanks so much for being on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.